Oh, good.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
You're a very talented singer-songwriter.
Thank you.
And you have a very unique sound. It's not really like anything that we're hearing on the mainstream right now.
Yeah.
So for those of us out there that's not familiar with your music, how would you describe your sound?
I would describe it soulful, raspy, emotionful. That's a word. I made up a word. Emotionful.
I get it.
And just gritty and a little raw.
Ooh,
Yeah.
gritty and raw. So
Yeah.
being that you write your songs, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Sometimes I take the inspiration from actual things that happened to me, and then sometimes, I have a sister, I have a mother, and there's a lot of stories there.
Hey, there you go.
And there's always something to talk about. So yeah.
Nice. Have you ever wanted to write about an experience, but it was just too hard?
Absolutely. I will have a couple of experiences. I'm just like, nope, not going there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
try, you start, and you're like, no, I'm not ready yet. Yeah.
Got it. Very understandable. I can imagine for somebody that writes songs, it kind of takes a lot out to be like vulnerable and to kind of expose your heart to your audience. So that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, and especially if you don't want the person to hear it. So
It's still a secret.
Yeah.
Maybe you can write it and then demo it to somebody, and maybe they can buy it off of you.
You know what? My mom says it all the time. I'm a little selfish with my songs, I'm like, I love this song. I'm not giving it up. She's like, if you're not going to do it, give it to someone else. I'm like, no.
Later down the line.
Yeah.
Because you moved to LA from Florida.
Yes.
So to me, it sounds like you're still, getting your feet wet. So I
Yeah.
can definitely imagine how possessive you can be with like your songs because it's so personal.
Yeah. I just, I would have a hard time hearing someone else sing it, especially if it's like a big hit. I'm like, damn, I don't know. I'm a little selfish. I'm like, oh my God, they're singing my song.
It could have been mine.
Yes,
It
exactly.
could have been my award.
Yeah,
Well, you have
exactly.
such a unique voice. I feel like you couldn't be selfish with that.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, when I first listened to your songs, it reminded me of Toni Braxton.
Thank you.
Which I love Toni Braxton, so I was like,
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of something.
Thank you. That's
Toni
big.
Braxton and Mary J. Blige is someone else that you credit as one of your inspirations. So you were basically born with a very unique voice. It's not like something that you trained.
No, I always noticed I had a different voice. When I was in school, other kids would let me know, like, oh my God, I love your voice, it's unique. And I'm like, okay. I didn't notice anything at that time. So when they would say it, I was like, okay. And I took it for what it was,
Definitely. So like I mentioned before, you're from Clearwater, Florida. Maybe moved to LA to pursue your dream.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you decided that you wanted to make this your career?
I was like 5 years old. I knew when I was in kindergarten, I was like, I'm going to be a singer, and that's it. I don't want to do anything else but sing.
There you go. Go
Yeah.
get it. Eyes on the prize.
Yeah.
Eyes on the prize. So when you moved out here, you weren't alone.
No. I brought 3 other people with me. My mom, who I couldn't do anything without, and then my younger brothers, Josh and Justin.
Nice, very nice. Now, is the rest of your family in music as well?
No. I'm the only one, like the first one. My family is like blue collar, everyday people, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a singer. They're like, okay, It's
I was
a little
going to say, is
different.
this like Selena where the whole family's like in a band
No.
and you're a singer?
I wish. I always wanted that kind of family. I wish. Oh my God, we could all
The
play
Jacksons.
instruments.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah,
No.
definitely. Who knows? Maybe they have a change of heart. Maybe they'll,
Well, my brothers are a little, artistic. My brother, he acts. So, yeah. And then I have another younger brother who does a lot of video editing. So,
very nice.
the only people that I know that are very artistic are my siblings. So that's, everyone else is like, what we sing.
Oh my gosh, what's in the water in Florida for all this creativity? Now, let me ask your mom, is your mom a creative as well?
You know what? She used to model when she was younger, but as in like singing, she would sing around the house. She can sing. Now, if you ask her to sing, she's not going to do it for you. But when we were growing up, we always had music in the house, and we would have little competitions. And my mom and myself and my sister, we'd go, okay, we're going to do a sing-off, we're going to do a talent show. Who's going to always out-sing each other? So we always had music.
That's that healthy competition.
Yeah. Even though we could never get an equal vote, everybody. How can you vote against mom? So mom was always winner.
Wow, that's so dope. So, we were talking about how, of course, your voice is very unique and that you kind of always had that voice. We shared a story where Toni Braxton was actually almost bullied for sounding so much like her inspiration, Anita Baker.
Yeah.
So were you actually ever teased or made fun of?
I remember one boy, he had a comment like, why is your voice so deep? And I remember I was just, I don't know, it's my spirit. I said, why is your voice so hot? And everybody was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I got him. It's over, no one's gonna comment. And I think, right early in my career, well, not my career, early when I was in my childhood, if someone had something to say about it, I was very defensive, like, no, so it really, I didn't have anything but that one experience. Everybody else was like, oh, I love it, it's so cool.
There you go. I think you made an example out